Be quiet, Kevin. Welcome, everybody, to the Rum Pure Sports NBA Showdown Winners, Showdown Show, whatever you want to call it, Winners, Show, Showdown. I like all three of them. I'll take them all today. And we got the man, the myth, the legend, Big T in the house today, bringing the Showdown Winners. Tony, what's going on here, buddy? We going to go back-to-back tonight?
Oh, hope so. We got the early news, too, with Gabe Vincent out tonight. I was a little curious. We were going to wait to do the show till later tonight just to get all the info and stuff, but we got the news early, so should be pretty easy to break it down. And as these series go and the playoffs go, I like our chances more and more, especially must-win games like tonight. You know, obviously Boston has to win. Miami definitely doesn't want to keep giving them more and more chances to build confidence and stuff. So these are the best spots. You know what you're going to get. You know the minutes. You can take stabs on guys with Vincent out. I mean, there's just so many angles that we're going to get into that I love it. The NBA playoffs, some of the biggest edge in the business, at least for us.
100%. Obviously, your big hit a couple nights ago with the 20K. We're going to pile that on, and we're going to get another one. We're going to make it a back-to-back, Tony. I'm feeling good tonight. We're going to get it done for the people. And Kevin, I don't know what to tell you about your FitVine line, but I got nothing to do with it anymore. My buddy sold his stuff. He's not a part of it anymore, so I can't help you on the FitVine side. I still rep the gear, but yeah, FitVine, he's over and done with it. So on to the next venture for him. But yeah, if you guys like good wine, still a solid wine right there. Tony's partook in some FitVine. It's not bad, right, Tony?
Oh, excellent stuff. I might still have a bottle or two left. I probably not, but I might.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Because they sent the mixture. JSU would always send the mixture, like 12 different ones. I loved about 85% of them. There were a couple of the ones I wasn't super high on, but the ones I liked, I really liked.
Yeah. He just would literally just say, "Okay, what does he want?" I don't know, and be like, "All right, I'll just send him. I'll just send him a bunch of ones." So you met him at my wedding. He's kind of like that. He's just he's a fun guy.
We hugged each other over calling you Johnny.
The worst. And I can't say anything to him too because he'll just whoop my ass. I wouldn't even have a chance. Oh no,
we also agreed on that we would both whoop your ass.
You wouldn't whoop my ass. Get out of here. He would definitely whoop my ass though. He is a black belt in Taekwondo and he's legit. He'd kick my ass with both his hands tied behind my back because one kick. I'd be dead. Like literally, I'd be on the ground, like tongue out, just drooling, just bleeding everywhere. So I don't mess with him. And yeah, I'm glad he's my friend. But on to the NBA Showdown winners, and we'll move to this game. But Tony, just talking about the series because we've done a bunch of these shows. I know they haven't all been free. Some of them have been behind the paywall, so everyone doesn't see it every single time. The last show we did with this, I think it was behind the paywall. You were really high on Grant Williams. You really thought that their best lineup was Grant Williams at the 5. Now, they did play the bigs, with Grant Williams a lot more than probably we would have liked. And it did work, right? Al Horford played better. You said it to me 3 minutes going in. You were like, oh, wow, Al Horford's trying. He's playing defense, all that stuff. But do you still think going forward that's their best route, or do you think Grant at the 4 is good enough to get them to the finish line here?
Yeah, so last time I said Grant Williams would be the key. I ended up shipping the slate. I also said on the show, though, that I wasn't confident in them using him at the 5 just because they love to play one of those bigs or two bigs at once. So I wasn't super confident in it, and it didn't happen, but he's just such a key to the series. And yesterday, golfing with Rubio, we were talking some showdown strategies and stuff because the dude does content at Rum Pure Sports 7 days a week and just crushes. He's just destroyed these playoffs. And we were kind of talking about projections because when you're running 150 in these things, obviously that's all that matters. And we were in agreements with a lot of things. And he was like, man, I bumped Grant Williams. I forget what he even said, 18 or something. I think his projection around the industry was I don't even remember, 12 or something.
It was 10 maybe.
Yeah, like low. And he was like proud 18, and I was like, what do you think I bumped him to? I literally bumped him to 30. He was like 20% captain, 80% or something utility. I just jammed him, and that's one of the reasons it was a good day. But it's still funny to me because these projections just don't catch up. I mean, just look at for example, the Boston ones as we go. I mean, Jaylen Brown is still projected for 42 range across the industry for the most part. You pull him up, and again, like during the regular season, you can't game log watch as much. It doesn't matter as much. But I mean, you pull this dude up, 32, 21, 25, 38, 43, 29, 34. So like legitimately his last 10 games, he's got near his projection one time with 43. And that game, he had 2 steals, 2 blocks, 6 boards. He got some stocks even in there to get to the 43. It's just absurd. And that's why these playoffs are just such massive edge once we get into these showdowns, especially. You got other guys too. Like I mean, Grant Williams, he's still only projected for 16. I just don't get. I don't know how you could project Robert Williams over Grant Williams. I just don't see it. I just don't get it. So that's why I love it. And then I'm sure Miami, as we look at Miami, are going to be pretty crazy too. I mean, not as bad. I was wondering what they would bump Duncan Robinson to and guys like that with Vincent out. They nudged him up a little, so. Not as bad, but I mean, the most egregious of all is Jaylen Brown. I just don't get it. Outside of it's just all numbers based and minutes based, and there's a huge sample into that projection. I would weigh it over the last 10 games or even just the playoffs since the playoffs started. So, but literally the last 10 games is when he started to struggle. So I literally don't get it. And he'll still come 30-40% tonight.
Well, yeah, he will. And it was funny, like in the Discord, I remember the last game taking some questions right before lock, and people were like, what do you think Jaylen Brown's ownership is going to be? You know, and they were thinking it was going to be low. They're thinking we're going to get Jaylen Brown's ownership at, 10, 15%. And I was like, I just can't see it. Like the projection's just going to push him more than that, unless you're moving it. And even then, even if you moved it down, you're still getting him enough to where it's not going to be 10%. And it wasn't, right? It wasn't that low. It was higher. And I agree with you. Like it has to be higher if the projection's not going to move. You're the one who always told me, like, it's all about the projection. That projection stays where it's at. Well, he's staying around where his ownership has probably been, honestly. Maybe his captain ownership takes a little hit because maybe people just take him out, Tony. Like, I don't know about that.
They could, but yeah, they could for sure.
But they're definitely afraid of taking him, someone like him out.
And even
right?
if it's only 5 or 10% captain, like that's still just insanity.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, something's wrong with him. I really believe that there's a rift with him and Tatum. They both want to play the ISO ball, hog ball, whatever you want to call it, where they just don't want to pass it to each other. I'll still keep harping to it. Tony talks about when Jaylen Brown fell to the floor in the beginning of the game, and literally no one on the team went to help him up. Like he stayed down there like someone was coming to help him up, and just nobody came.
Smart even looked at him and still didn't help him.
I'm sure Smart's like just sick of dealing with whatever's going on, like because there's definitely something going on internally in that locker room. But then the other thing is, like, I still remember dude getting a screen from Tatum peeling out to the corner, and both defenders go with him on the drive. And Jaylen Brown, like, Tatum is wide open for the first time in the entire series, wide open for a three, and Jaylen Brown just did not pass it to him. And he knew it. Like, he knew he was, and he just wouldn't pass it to him. There's something going on. Jaylen Brown's off. I'm with you. I think you definitely want to lower that projection for sure. Like, just hit it and go lower. I've been lower on him most of the series.
This is where watching the games come in, though, what he's saying. Jaylen Brown playing with the bad cut hand. That has nothing to do with chemistry. Well, just do yourselves a favor, like tonight when you're watching. If Jaylen Brown has a good sequence where he makes a shot, does something else, they go to the bench, no one even high-fives the guy. Like,
nobody.
That has nothing to do with his injury. And the whole team, for example, I mean, man, they don't like each other. That's the biggest problem that I have with them is they just – and these are the things that you won't know unless you watch it close. Like, a lot of people probably wouldn't even notice that. But
I think Allen Smart do their best job behind the scenes to like keep everyone somewhat together. But it just at a certain point, it just can't work anymore, right, Tony? When it doesn't work, at a certain point, you're just like, okay, I'm done doing this. Like, I'm sure they've tried. Whatever it is. But I agree with you. This is more than just he has a cut on his hand. Okay, is the cut on his hand forcing him to not pass the ball when you have two defenders on you and the other guy has none? That's not high level basketball. That's like obvious basketball. You know what I mean? This isn't like, these are things that are simple for these guys. They're friggin' professionals. They know what they're doing. Is it causing Jaylen Brown, because he has a cut on his hand, to take really bad fadeaway jump shots? No, the cut on his hand means nothing other than maybe it's annoying him when he shoots. I don't know, but it's not causing him to take bad shots. It's not causing him to not pass to his teammates. Like, it's the same thing with Tatum. Tatum, like multiple games, like wouldn't pass the ball. It would drive me insane. Finally, in this last game, he started to pass the ball a little bit and they started to get better looks. I thought that was one of the turning points of the game, actually, was Tatum trying to distribute. In the first half, they were missing some of the threes. In the second half, they started to make some of them. Tony always kills me when I talk about the threes, but Mike, that's what they shoot. That's what they're giving them. It's what they shoot, Tony. I don't know what else to say.
That's all they got, too. I mean, they're not going to score anywhere else. So, I mean, look at the roster. They have – Smart can drive a little bit and get foul. I mean, Derek White's kind of a slasher a little bit. I mean, but everyone else is just a spot-up shooter for the most part. That's another problem with them, to be honest. They have a great roster. Don't get me wrong. They should have been the favorite going into the playoffs. They just don't quite, go together. And Golden State took advantage of that last year. And Miami's taking advantage of it this year so far. And not to go a totally different direction, but I just don't understand the spread either. I don't get it. Like, Boston shouldn't be favored by it. And there's people in our chat like, man, is Miami going to punt tonight? Are they going to just give Gabe's out? If they get down 15-20, are they going to pull their guys? No, this is Miami. They're probably going to win the game.
Yeah, they're not pulling their guys, though, no matter – this is –
unless it's just an insane blowout.
They're not, though. I watched them in certain blowouts in the playoffs keep their guys in there, and I remember the announcers, freaking out. Why haven't they pulled it? Was that Philly? It was Philly, I think, right? When they were beating them, and the announcers, whoever they were freaking out. I can't believe they still have their starters in, and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I mean, they're trying to just put them away. What do you want from them? I'm fine with it. But, yeah, I remember that. K. Fallick, this message, I would click on it because I will talk about it. But it's just too long, man. Come on, man. Tony, you see this message
We need that GIF that AP always posts with the three things where it's I'm sorry, not reading that shit or something.
Yeah, we do need that
GIF. I love that GIF.
Perfect. Helmet, can we load that one as a graphic so we can just go to it when
I would love to
Kevin
give that
typing?
to Fallick right now.
Yeah, we could talk about Al Horford. I'm sure this is most people after we just killed Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown definitely in my core, Mike says. I mean, yeah.
Get him in there, big boy.
Get him in there. Hey, 10th time is a charm, right? That's what I've heard before. So you might hit it out of the ballpark today, my man. Zeller fans, are you a Zeller fan? I don't know what that's about. I don't know how you can be a Zeller fan, but
I'm sure he's just talking
about
pricing based.
Oh, well.
And he is a decent play tonight for sure at 1,600. He gets guaranteed minutes at a cheap price. So
we'll talk about it. Let's get into it right now because you get the Miami guys who now you take out Gabe Vincent from that rotation. I assume, Tony, your mindset is right. Kyle Lowry just replaces him, and then they run. Does Kevin Love get more minutes? How do you see that like shaking out? Because right now what they're doing is Kyle Lowry would fill Gabe, and Caleb Martin normally comes in for Kevin Love and then plays the rest of the half pretty much. Like, so who's taking a few of the Gabe minutes? What are they doing there?
Yeah, I just don't put as much as everyone else will probably into it, but it just makes these guys better plays. The last couple of games of this series, we've talked about some of the unknowns with Miami. Like there's guesswork. Like is Strus going to make shots, or is Duncan Robinson going to come in and hit a few? Is he going to back cut? Who's going to play good and get these minutes? So it takes one of the variables out for us, which is good. Lowry obviously is way more secure, but also with that, his ownership goes way up. Like last game, I shipped with Lowry, and it was partly because just no one really played him all that much. I think he was like 20% owned or something. So tonight, everyone's going to freaking play Lowry. And we've liked Caleb Martin the whole series. So one of the things I like about Gabe being out, our exact strategies from last game are just more solidified. And as we go through the mid-tier and stuff, I think the guys that we're high on and low on are even more solidified tonight. So it's almost reached the point of that Nuggets series where I just feel very, very confident about what we're going to see about these guys. Doesn't mean they're going to make shots and that stuff's going to happen, but I feel very, very confident about the rotations and what both of these teams want to do.
All right, well, we just had a special guest pop on. I assume he's mad because we did not take his. He's on right now, and I'm assuming he's mad. He wants to talk.
If he comes in and likes Jaylen Brown, we got to boot him.
I just want to know if I'm at the Center for People That Don't Read Good. Is that where we are right now?
Yes. Okay. Hey, Kevin. My name's JSU. Nice to meet you. It feels like we just met for the first time.
Yeah, there's AP right there. I didn't see that part.
JSU, can you give us the Zoolander kiss or something like that? Little like the pose for Zoolander at least.
Nope.
I'm not going to get it.
I will not.
All right. So can I now say what I was trying to write?
I mean, I know what you were trying to write, but you can say it for the people. Go for it.
So we're talking about projections that feel like they're way off, and I would say based off of last game, I'm seeing Al Horford's projection at like 22-23 right now. Al Horford played 30 minutes. He got pulled early in the first quarter because of foul trouble. He got 2 fouls in the first 5 or 6 minutes. They let him play a few more minutes, and then they pulled him. And then in the fourth quarter, he got 3 fouls in the fourth quarter to make it 5 total in the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and then he never came back into the game. And I don't necessarily think that Boston played amazingly in those 7 minutes. They played well when he was in for the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and they pulled him and weren't bringing him back in because they didn't want they needed aggressive defense, I would say. So they didn't want to put in Al Horford,
they extended the lead and put the game away while he was on the bench.
But also I think that they would have played Al Horford if they could have, if he wasn't.
If the game went the other way, they would have definitely put him back in for sure.
Yeah, they would have brought him back in, exactly.
So I'm seeing a projection of 22, and last game he got 30 fantasy points.
Yeah,
and that was in 25 minutes. I think you can bank on 32 to 34 minutes easily for Al Horford if he's out of foul trouble. And they're playing well, obviously. Like the whole everything goes off the table if they're not playing well. But when he was in, they were looking very, very sharp. Is my opinion. So I'm looking at, like, we can say that Jaylen Brown's projection is way off, and I agree it's way off. Like 42 is too high, but I would say the exact same thing for Al Horford, that 22 is way, way too low.
So here's the thing, Kevin. So we just started this show, and we normally work from the top down. So we would have definitely got Al Horford. I will just say that we would have gotten to him. You're a little, you're rushing us a little bit. Don't rush the mojo here, Kevin. I'll just throw that one out there, but we'll get there. I agree with you though. If you want to pull, Al Horford's projection, say it's a little low, for sure. He would have played more minutes. 1,000% if he wasn't in foul trouble. And the other thing, though, is like he was definitely playing hard. He was hitting his threes. So everything was like going right for him on top of that. I'll just throw that one out there. But I do agree with you. He's probably too low in the projection model. I would have him ahead of Malcolm Brogdon. And it looks like a lot of projections still have Malcolm Brogdon ahead of Al Horford.
I have Malcolm Brogdon as like the fourth lowest projection of the main 16 or 17
because
players.
Grant Williams is actually affecting his minutes too. That's another thing. It's Derek White and Grant Williams are actually affecting Malcolm Brogdon because we've
100%.
always talked about this. But Tatum, Smart, Brown, Horford, pretty much they're not losing their minutes unless there's something going on, right? Foul trouble. So then it's like White, Grant Williams. Well, if you go two bigs, because Tony talked about it, they don't want to play Grant at the 5. They want one of those bigs in there. So if Grant's playing 25 or more minutes, then that's at the direct hit of one of those guards probably and Time Lord. So that's the thing. And so you got to lower one of those guards, I think, in the projections. Tony, what do you think about that? Like, well, Malcolm Brogdon.
I mean, Brogdon's already not projected for anything. So, yeah, I agree.
Okay. Is he lower than what I saw earlier?
Yeah, it might not update it for you.
The whole slate, JSU, the whole slate.
He's low.
Oh, okay. Now I got him at 22. SaberSim's got him at 22.6. And,
which is still maybe too high, but yeah. Like
I think I have him at 17.5. Which
earlier this morning, he was at 24, and Al Horford was at 22. I know that.
Yeah.
So I will. The whole slate changed, fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, because Brogdon's probably not going to hit any builds anyways now with any projection, because especially if you bump up Al Horford. If you bump up Al Horford, he's not going to hit anything. But then also Caleb Martin got a small bump. Kyle Lowry got a huge bump, and then Duncan Robinson got a pretty solid bump as well with the news. So it's going to be hard to get any Brogdon in when you have Kyle Lowry projected for 30 points.
Yeah, I mean 100%. Because we were going to get into it, but okay, let's talk about it now. You got the Heat guys. You take one of the I would say very crucial role piece out from the rotation. I think the Heat side is definitely more interesting as a whole now, whereas last couple slates I played it as the Boston side. Now I think the Heat side has to be a little bit better, right? With taking out someone like Gabe. I mean, Tony, what do you think of that? Like, are you heavier on one side, or does it not mean much to you?
I mean, it definitely helps. You got one less guy in there, but it's still in theory the same for me. I mean, yeah, you're going to bump, like what Falix said, you're going to bump Lowry, you're going to bump Caleb a little bit, but overall it doesn't change that much to me. You're still going to have to weigh Duncan Robinson versus Grant Williams. You're going to have to weigh who's in Lowry. I mean, Lowry versus a guy like Horford, Smart versus Lowry, even though they're not quite the same price. I mean, just that range, you're still going to have to weigh them against each other, but yeah, it solidifies those roles more, but the ownership comes with it.
But what it makes is like now they can't play Lowry and Vincent together, which was affecting some of the minutes from the shooters. Like last game, they played a little Lowry and Vincent together, which actually hurt both Max Struss and Duncan Robinson because one wasn't being effective. And I don't know why they didn't just bring Max Struss back in, but they tried going both guards. So now they can't even do that. So now it definitely helps one of those two shooters, right? Whoever it is, I think it makes them probably better plays in general. But Kevin, I'll let you answer the same question.
Well, let me ask first. Just so when Tyler Hero got hurt in like game 2 or whatever it was, game 1 of the first round, the person who got the bump was Duncan Robinson and Oladipo. They both got the bump in minutes. And obviously Oladipo's not there anymore. We have 27 minutes to spread around of Gabe Vincent's minutes. Do you think that Lowry gets up to 40 minutes and then Duncan Robinson and like Struss eat a few minutes of each of those? Is that or do you think Highsmith gets in the rotation for 10 minutes?
In the rotation.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't.
know
I
about
don't think at
Highsmith.
least.
I don't know if he will either, but I think
Maybe they
that
let Kevin Love play an extra couple minutes.
that's what I think. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see Highsmith is getting projected for 5 or 6 points right now, and I'm almost considering putting him down to the same way I've been playing these 1K guys that I don't think are going to get
I'm
on
not
the court.
playing him for sure. I'm taking him out. Even
Yeah,
at 1K.
I think that it's a leverage point that you
took him
can
out.
play, and then you just bump up Kevin Love, like you say. He's already gotten a little bump, but you bump him like a little bit more, and then Duncan Robinson during that run in the playoffs when he was when Tyler Hero got hurt, he was playing 25 to like 28 minutes those 3 games in the first round. So I think it's really I think you can easily consider Duncan Robinson in those spots as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I was going to say it too when we got to Kevin Love, but like this is the first time all series that I actually did not X out Kevin Love. I kept him in my player pool just because I think there's an outside chance where they give him an extra couple minutes of run just to soak up some of those Gabe Vincent minutes. But the problem is like Caleb Martin's normally coming in for him. So does Caleb Martin?
I hate Kevin Love. Like,
I mean, I hate him too.
His only positive is his price point, but like I'm not going to project him for anything. Like
I gave him
still going to
Tony,
project him for like 12.
I gave him a 12 projection. And he hit some of my teams, so I was just like, okay,
I'd be stunned if Kevin Love's in the winner tonight.
I mean, same, but
I think it's Duncan Robinson for sure. Strauss, like they still have 2, 4. They still got 6 guys that, not counting Love and Zeller, like 7, 8. They got 6 guys that can play all the minutes.
But they don't want to play Duncan Robinson and Struss together.
Yeah, they still, they're main dudes: Butler, Bam, Lowry, Caleb, and then one of the 2 shooters. Like that's their 5.
I know, I agree. So what I'm saying though is Kevin Love just as a price play. If he gets 18
you can leave him
minutes,
in for sure. But
yeah, exactly. That's all I did.
Do they not have a choice? Do they possibly not have a choice though of playing Struss and Duncan Robinson together this game? Like I'm trying to
evaluate, but it still doesn't matter that much to me.
They might play a little together. I just know in the past they haven't wanted to do that. It's very clear that they don't want to do that. But maybe they will in this game. I don't know about that. But I do definitely like Duncan Robinson. Again, I'll go right back to him after the dud. He just didn't play good. I mean, that's the thing. He won his minutes in the last 2 games before that, and then lost minutes clearly playing poor. Like, he was just bad. So, that's that. But all right, let's go into captains because it looks like that we kind of hit on a lot of those mid-tier guys. But Tony, let's talk captains here. What's the route for the top spot here? Are you going more mid-tier guys? Do you want to just jam the studs and go cheapies? How are you going about attacking this captain spot?
It's just all. I still haven't run any of the teams, but I know for sure that I want it to be one of the 4 guys for the Heat. Butler, probably not even Bam actually. Butler, Lowry, Caleb, maybe a little. Bam would be my 4th of Miami, and then on Boston it would be Tatum. I don't think I can put Smart in the captain anymore. I had to work hard last game just to get him to 30. I think I got to get him out of my captain pool. So Tatum, Big Al with K. Fallick, Derek White for sure in my captain pool, and Grant Williams for sure in my captain pool. So what is that? 1, Tatum, Horford, White, Grant. That's 4 from Boston, and 3 or 4 from Miami would be my captain pool.
Yeah, I got Lowry, Caleb, Jason Tatum, Grant Williams, Duncan Robinson in my captain pool. So 5 guys. I like the mid-tier captains, though. I do think these Miami mid-tier guys are just really strong plays. So I'm going to be heavy on them.
The problem might be, though, is there's not enough spend-ups, and there's so many cheapies that you're
what are you going to
get anything.
What are you going to project? What are you going to project Jaylen Brown and Bam Adebayo for to be able to get them to get 3 of 4 of those guys. Like that's the thing is if you're
like I don't want Jalen, so
I understand, but you have to project. You have to like the thing is you got to get 3 or of those 4 guys.
I just love that Falix finally found his natural calling of a 150 player with all his numbers, and he loves it. He loves it, JSU. I've told him this forever. It's his natural calling, and look how excited he is right now to talk about minutes and freaking rotations and captains.
I can only do it for Showdown, though. I don't know how to make rules. You're gonna have to teach me to make rules.
I don't make many rules in Showdown. So.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I can do it for Showdown. I can't do it for everything else.
Like last game, I shipped last game because all these donkeys grouped out Lowry and Gabe Vincent. Yep. Like, stop grouping out people like that. People, this is Showdown.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Unless it's blatantly obvious. Like sometimes it's very obvious. Gabe Vincent and Kyle Lowry, to me, is not – they can easily play together on the floor.
And they did. And they did play together. That was the thing.
I would never group out 2 guards like that. Like, I would never group out Smart and Derek White or something. Like
Joe Ruff goes, I am that donkey.
I mean, there was a lot. To be fair, Joe Ruff, there was a lot of people that did that. I seen him talking about it.
So here's where I am. On the captain spot. I just ran my numbers for the first time. I'll give you captain exposure just so you can hear it. But Jason Tatum's hitting almost half of my lineups. He's at 44% right now. Kyle Lowry's second at 13, and then everybody else is under 10. Grant Williams, Derek White, Marcus Smart, Al Horford, Jimmy Butler, Max Struss, Bam, and Caleb Martin. I'll get rid of some of those guys, but simply just putting in projections and then running the numbers, that's where I'm landing on is those 2 guys those 2 guys for the most part over 60% of the lineups, and then otherwise it's a smattering of all those other guys. But the biggest challenge, as I was just saying, is I'm gonna it's hard to get 3 of those expensive guys to hit lineups unless you over project them. And right now I have Bam projected at 37.5 and Jaylen Brown at 34 with Tatum and Jimmy Butler at 50 plus. And I can't get much. They're not going to hit much if I do that.
Which is fine. That's fine.
Yeah. It's just, it means that Jason Tatum's going to hit a lot more lineups. Yeah. And I am perfectly fine with that.
I mean, clearly has the highest ceiling of anyone in this.
Yeah,
I mean, him and Jimmy. I mean,
I'm interested in what and Tony may tell me I'm just wrong for doing this. I'm not running it yet, but I'm interested to see what it looks like to simply just lock in Jason Tatum and lock in what is a 50-point floor. I think tonight, if you think the game stays close, he's got a 50-point floor, and just run the lineups that way and lock him in at captain and just let the other guys.
Yeah, you just don't need to.
Yeah, you're going to get enough of them to where it's not going to matter, right?
And Jimmy can easily outscore him.
Because it could easily not go Boston's way, too, Falix. So that's the other thing you're forgetting. So you're just saying, if Boston wins, he has a 50-point floor or whatever.
Jimmy missed so many easy shots last game. He ain't going to miss them again. He missed 5-6 layups.
A lot of their others didn't play good either. A few of them, Caleb Martin went cold in the second half.
Tatum is fine. You don't need more than that.
So should I be projecting Jimmy Butler for more than 55?
I mean, just me personally with the top 2, no matter what, 55, 54, 56, 55. I don't think it really matters all that much. Just as long as you just got to figure out which one you want ahead of the other, like I always say.
Yeah.
And it's a coin flip for me, honestly. I think I'm going to put Tatum ahead, but it's super close for me. So, if you wanted to lock Tatum, I think you're fine just going 50-50 with those 2. Or even 60-40 if you like Tatum slightly better. But I don't think you need to, because some of these lower guys, like Lowry, could go for 50 or something, and then you're in trouble no matter what. If I don't know, you just don't need that much. I don't.
That's
think.
fair. Okay.
You're not going to get enough combos because it's going to start putting in guys like Brogdon and different people if you go too far.
Okay.
I do think that's why I do like the mid-tier route, though, where I do think one of those Miami guys could just be the winner, just because they get an extra little bump, and have a big game. My thing that's crazy, though, is, Tony, I would have definitely thought Grant Williams, captain, was going to be the winner last night or 2 nights ago or whenever it was. And it wasn't, right? Tatum still was the winner somehow?
Because Felix just told you, our new 150 champion. We need to get a section on the site for him for football. 150 champion, StubHub himself. But he told you it's because if Jaylen Brown and Bam suck, you just aren't getting a lower. It's just not, numbers-wise, it's not possible. But if the flip side to that is, though, if you get like a 45 or 46 from one of these two, then a lot more likely for one of those guys to be in there.
Yeah, because if I just told you Grant Williams scored 30, right, you'd be like,
that was what I projected him for. The funniest part.
Yeah, I don't know how
I would have thought he'd be in the captain. Yeah,
I projected him for 22, and I thought I was crazy. I was like, I'm ridiculous right now.
JSU, because you analyze this a lot more than Tony does, honestly, and Tony can offer it. But what is causing Bam to only get 20 points in the last 2 games, basically? Like, is it because
I think Tony actually analyzed it before that first game when they went small, when we got the lineup, and he said it. He said, "I just don't think Bam's going to be as effective."
After I gave it as the captain the game before, thank you. Well, I don't have a lot of good takes lately. That was one of my good ones.
So is it because
give me credit for that one?
I also think, though, Kevin, Miami's offense, I thought they'd gone away from Bam actually handling and creating more at the top of the key in the last 2 games, which is another thing.
I don't know numbers. Why. The numbers show it. Like, he's gone from 29 and 24 usage to 20 and 16.
Yeah, I'm telling you, right?
Horford and big Rob.
It's because he's having to guard Horford at the 3-point line is what I'm guessing is going to be the number one cause of this, is that he's having to extend.
That's why the rebounding numbers are a little off. But you're talking about offensively the usage, and I'm telling you right now, for the last 2 games, he has done way less creating and ball.
How's he going to create on Horford and Grant, though? He can't as easily.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying, like, he used to get attempts at, like, being at the top of the key, letting them run through his screen, and as he's handing the ball off, like those cheap little assists. Also, Boston's really covered them well, especially last game. They were all over Duncan Robinson. I mean, he couldn't get up a 3, it felt like. And the one or two threes he did get up were really tough, contested. They even blocked one of them, too. I think it was Derek White. Like, they got a screen for him, and he just came around the screen and just got his hand right on the ball. They were hustling, though, so that's another thing. Like, I think it hurts, it hurts him a little bit, Bam. But, yeah, I mean, I see the numbers that you see, and it's definitely affected him. I don't know if they've kind of changed their strategy a little bit too offensively, maybe taking it out of his hands. But it definitely looks like it to me, so I don't know from that. But anything else here, boys, with the captains? I mean, I think we talked about the captains. So, I mean, all the other stuff, there's no rules anyone likes. I don't really like any rules either. Is there any rules either of you would do?
No,
Kevin?
Yeah, I'm not worried. You're sounding, I think you're more worried about the stress Duncan Robinson being on the court at the same time than
I didn't make it a rule.
Yeah.
I didn't make it a rule.
Okay.
I just think Duncan Robinson and Max Struss's price tags, you don't need to make it a rule.
Sure.
Like, at their price tags, even if they did, like, if you told me I got, the 48 minutes from both of them combined, Falik, like, I still think there's a world where they both could be on the winner and score just like enough to get there at their price tag.
So again, I'm just looking at numbers because I'm trying to find it. But game 2, the first game after Hero got hurt in game 1, I forgot. Game 2, they combined for 56 minutes, so they did have at least a few minutes on the court together. I can't say how many minutes there were, but they did at least play together. I'm not saying that they want to necessarily have them on the court together, but they may not have a choice. Is really what I like. If you're not going to play Haywood Highsmith some minutes tonight, I don't see how you don't have Struss and Duncan Robinson on the court for at least a few minutes tonight, because Kyle Lowry is going to go 38 minutes at most, I would say. Like, obviously he can go more but like makes him more ineffective. And then Caleb Martin, I don't think, unless he starts, is still going to see 35 at most. So I think you're going to need them to be on the court together at least a few minutes.
All right, Matthew Moore's question. Do you guys think Grant Williams will be chalk? Question mark. Tony, you think Grant Williams is going to be chalk?
I mean, they didn't bump his price, so yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It's relative to the build. The thing is that the build overall is I think going to be semi-chalky because it's going to be these two studs up top with Grant Williams or Kevin Love, and then putting in Kyle Lowry in there. And then you have two spots that are going to be a little bit more unique possibly. And that's where it changes. But I think you're going to see most of the lineups start off with the two studs, Kyle Lowry, and two of these guys, Kevin Love or Grant Williams.
Yeah, I agree. One thing too, excuse you, bless you, whatever the heck that was. But one thing too, I think with Gabe out, one other thing I'm going to hit is if you're into props and stuff like that, Jimmy's assist prop, definitely want to go over on that with no Gabe Vincent. Ball's going to be in his hands way more. It's not just going to be all in Kyle Lowry's hands. So hit that prop. I like that prop a ton. And I'm going to have a single game parlay out. I'm telling you, I think I got to go back to Duncan Robinson again. I feel like if he comes through for us again, it's going to be a big night because I feel good with a lot of the other props I got other than that. But he was the one that hurt us. We had a 200-1 going, and he was the one guy that killed us in that 200-1. But I think he gets it done for us tonight. I think we get back to it.
Yeah, I like that one for sure.
Why don't you do a round robin? Just wondering, GSU, if you're like, why don't you hit the five? Like, if you're having a 6, why not hit the 5s as well for a little bit of money? Because like it seems like 5 of 6 is becoming a constant.
Yeah. I mean, I could do that. I mean, that's the thing though. Like I like them. I do the long shots. I just, put a few bucks on it for fun and stuff like that. That's what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be for fun. You want to, Mangone has his like player prop page where he takes like his favorite prop and he throws it on there. Hopefully he remembers to put over or under. But I mean, like if you want to do that and just hit one of like the best props, go check his stuff out. I know Tony puts a bunch of different bets on the sheet. Dunkel, Joey Work. If you guys want to just hit like 1 or 2 bets, then just go to the bet sheet and follow Joey Work's baseball winners or Dunkel's winners. I mean, they got winners up there, every day. So check them out. But if you want to friggin' try and, hit some big money, single game parlay stuff is, probably right up your alley, and you should check it out. That's all I'm going to say. So
what do y'all think of Derek White tonight?
I think he's a good play again. I think he's a good play. He's getting open 3 looks, and he's been knocking them down in the playoffs. Even when he was playing low minutes, that was like the one thing he was still doing was open 3s, and he was hitting them pretty well. So I think he's fine. His price tag did go up. I think now it's what it should have been the last 2 games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that it begs the question of where do you project Struss versus Derek White? Like, who do you prefer between them? One's going to get probably 10 more minutes of run than the other one is, I feel like, tonight.
That's a close one for me. I have them pretty close. Tony, do you have a strong stance, Struss or White?
Definitely a tough question. Derek White, I've been super high on the last couple games. Scary part though, last game played really, really good. Only got 27 minutes and hit 3 threes and still only got 30 fantasy points, which was good. Don't get me wrong. But he played, we always talk about this on these shows. He played really, really good to get the 30. So
4 stocks. And
I would definitely take 30. Again, don't understand what I'm saying. I would love to have 30, but he played really, really good, and Struss played bad. Struss is going to get 10 more minutes, like Fallick said. Tough decision because I think Derek White's better, but Struss, all it takes is a few shots to go in, and Struss, I think, probably by a hair for me. And again, that's these showdown questions. It's you only have to rank him 0.01 ahead of the other one, but you do have to choose when you're running your 150. You have to put one ahead of the other. It's a tough question. I think I will do Struss, I guess.
I would put it.
I trust his minutes way more.
So
because in theory, I don't think Brogdon will steal those minutes back from those guys, but he could. I think Struss is very, very safe for 35 plus minutes.
I mean, Malcolm Brogdon's going to be really low. He's going to be like Al Horford.
And I'm not going to play him, but he is going to be very low owned for a reason.
Yeah.
And he's looked really bad the last couple of games.
He's looked bad, but I agree with you. What if he comes out and he looks really good? Like he could win some minutes.
He's just injured though. Like I think the injury is hampering him. He's there, but they need him for they want him for the defense for the 15 minutes that he can offer at least to give Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown some time to rest. And I think that he's fitting that role at least correctly. Like personally, when I'm looking at Max Struss versus Derek White, I'm probably just going to project them 0.5 apart, like Struss 0.5 more, and see if the 200 matters on my builds, because I don't see them being that different. But Kyle Lowry is head over heels more better play than the two of them, I would say right now.
I don't know what's going on in the chat. Chosen Nick's out here promoting for Bobby. Adam G, coupon code Bobby15. Yeah, Bobby15 is the coupon code for the day, I guess. I mean, friggin' everyone's using Bobby's code, so we might as well get one more. If you guys want to use Bobby15, you get 15% off at checkout. So,
I want to pick Big T picks winners 15.
Okay, seriously.
We are shipping tonight.
Is this a family member? Who is this? I want to know.
None of my family gives me credit. What do you mean? It can't be a family member. It's got to be someone else.
Niehaus. That has to be it. Who there doesn't give you credit?
When's the last time you heard someone in my family give me credit? It's definitely not them.
When you pay for the lunch tab.
I didn't pay for lunch today, though. So,
am I right though? Am I right? Come on, I'm right. When you pay for the lunch tab, that's how it's done. So
Big T picks winners. We are going to ship tonight, though. Big T picks winners.
Yeah, Bobby in here. He says great promo code. It's a good one.
Bobby almost shipped again the other. So this is Fallic will love this. So I always say this bastard JSU never takes L's with stuff. I call him the other day. I take an L myself, and he starts arguing with me, Fallic, that I'm not allowed to take an L. Right away, I'm like, Horford, I was like, I messed up. Bobby and Fallic loved Horford. 3 minutes into the game, I saw Horford body in like this, really hustling down the court back and forth. I'm like, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have freaking faded. It was a bad fade. I got really lucky. I shipped. I called everything else in the game real good, but I didn't like Horford. In the whole game, I thought Horford was going to be why I didn't ship. And finally, at the end, I beat the Horford team just based on luck. And I've got unlucky a lot lately.
Bobby and Hare and I
very
were
lucky.
Happy.
I'll admit it. And then JSU's like, you can't be results oriented. I said I'm not being results oriented. I won. It was a bad fade.
You came in after the dude hit 3. So this is see, chat. This is the story, and Tony won't tell you. But we
3
actually
minutes in, I said it.
Stop. We actually talked at halftime, if you remember, because I called you up saying we needed Duncan Robinson, and you told me about Al Horford. You said Bobby and Kevin were right.
I noticed he was
Bobby and Kevin were right. I was wrong for not playing Horford. I hope he doesn't, crush me, because I know I have good – because Tony knew at that point he had some really good teams, but he didn't have any Horford. And what I said back to you was, okay, so it sounds like you're being results-oriented because the man comes out smoking hot in the first half, bangs a few threes, and you're like, oh, shit, whatever. And he's like, no, the hustle, he's getting down in his stance. He was
sprinting. He was sprinting up and down the court.
Yeah, so he's doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, well, it sounds like kind of results-oriented to me or whatever, but you can say whatever you want. But that was at halftime, Tony.
Alex.
That was at halftime. Get it right.
No, we did talk at halftime, but I said at 3 minutes in, I knew. And it wasn't because of the threes. It really wasn't. So anyways, I apologize, Kevin.
Let it sink in, chat. Let it just sink in and marinate.
Bobby was shipping that whole freaking thing again.
Can you send us some money to make up for your apology? Like,
not when you guys ship every damn slate. I'm the one that never ships.
Yeah, you don't need money. You're rich, Phallic. Get out of here. And Bobby's probably rich
Yeah,
too.
get
He
out of here,
doesn't need money
Bobby.
either.
Would have been a ton of RPS logos. Big T needed a logo up there one day. Like, let me win one, Bobby. Let the poor people win here and there. You can't win them all.
Bobby does try and win. That's why I like Bobby.
That's
greedy.
greedy.
He does try and win them all. I like
Nick's in here using his promo code. I mean, come on, Bobby.
I don't know if you noticed it, Bobby, but I put that thing up about Nick, and Tony clicked that thing off right away. He was like, "Get that thing out of here. We can't be giving Bobby any more credit." Greedy. I mean, yeah, winners win. I'll put him back up there.
He did get on. I mean, they were all over the Horford. I'll give him credit. That was a good play.
Yeah, 10. What was he?
It was all 12%? Bobby. Bobby talked me onto it when I saw that ownership. It was it just made sense.
10%. What was he, Phallic?
Yeah, I don't know.
We got 3 Opal ice makers. We're all rich, I guess.
I mean, I do, but mine doesn't count because it was actually given to me as a gift. I didn't buy it myself, so I'm not actually as rich as these guys. So it was a gift given. But thank you. Fade Lowry tonight from Matt.
Don't fade Lowry. I mean, if you played one team, I guess you could, but don't fade him if you're playing multiple teams.
I agree. Use KFALIC 15. Damn it! Is that a code? Is that a real code? Does Kevin have a code?
I have a code somewhere.
He's got a baseball core now. I know that.
Where's the baseball core?
Right in the core spot.
I got a FanDuel baseball core spot.
What do you mean? What about a DraftKings baseball core?
He hasn't earned both yet. He's only gets FanDuel so far.
I only have one.
He's working his way up.
You'll get there, Kevin. Don't worry. You'll get there. How does Kevin only have a FanDuel friggin' core? I mean, come on. Can we get the man a DraftKings core too?
I'm good. I'm with Mangone. Mangone is very welcoming to me, and I appreciate his hospitality.
I appreciate his hospitality. Let's see here. What's this one? Do you guys think that Horford ownership will be even lower tonight? I don't think it'll be lower than what it was last game, but I still don't think it's going to be super high.
It's going to be pretty high.
No.
Al Horford? He's still projecting like 22 points, 23 points.
Yeah. Again, the problem is you got Lowry. You have Lowry $800 cheaper, and then you got all these cheapies. I think it's going to be interesting. This news is really made this slate like insanely interesting to me.
The only thing I will say is those builds where you fade both Bam and Jalen, you kind of have to play that mid-tier. So, like, Al Horford kind of, like, you get stuck into playing like him or Smart.
The good news is he's playing Bam and Jalen, so we're going to ship again tonight.
How many people are going to fade that, though?
Huh?
Not many people are fading that Bam and Jalen.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I just said. That's why I said we're going to ship again tonight. Because people are going to play Bam and Jalen again. And we're going to play Horford and Caleb and Lowry and Struss and Derek White and all these guys. Like, it's very clear. Like, I am very, very confident we're going to have a good night tonight. Like, the only two guys that really can hurt us are Jalen. Who can hurt us? Jalen, Bam. Brogdon could definitely hurt me. I think we're all on the same page with that. Robert Williams could definitely hurt me if he did good. But those are the only guys that could hurt me. There you go, Adam G.
Let's go, Adam G. Love to see it, man. Make sure you get in the Discord. Don't forget to get in the Discord so you get into the NBA chat or MLB or whatever your sports you're playing tonight. We got best ball channels. Get it all, but get in that Discord. And if you guys want to, join, like I said, use the code Bobby15, get you 15% off. You could use the code Big T15 too if you love. I got a deal for
Adam G. If he signs up right now and gets in he's got to send me a message in the Discord because that'll mean he got in. That'll mean he's a member. I'll put you in this $100 single entry for NBA.
Ooh,
got to send it to me in Discord though.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
$100 single entry for NBA. You got to play it too. Don't be rat holing that money. You got to put it in there and ship it.
I love it. There you go. You get $100 ticket right there, Adam G. Adam G's definitely getting.
So it should be a free month if you signed up for the month. I think the month's $100 or something. You get it back free.
Look at that. And hopefully he gets it back.
Let's ship, Adam G.
And hopefully he gets it back and wins, $5K or whatever the top prize is in that $100. So
he will.
Yeah,
we're on the right track tonight. We're all on the. I think we're all on the same page pretty much.
He says it's my B day too.
It's your B day too. Let's go, Adam G.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. The love. That's the love right there. Hopefully people see that, but that's the good stuff. Make sure you guys hit the like button.
Do the 120? What's the 120? There's 100. Oh, the package 120. Okay.
Oh, yeah, he's asking you.
Sabre RPS has Highsmith projected for 7.8 points.
He's the one that I'm taking this down. I'm not playing him. I don't think he plays unless it's like blowout or major foul trouble. I just don't think he's going to hit the winner, though. Like, with the mid-range as strong as it is, I just think you're going to need like 15 or something from him anyways, even if he plays. Like, this isn't the Denver series where you got 4 studs. Like, a 1K guy's going to have to get something.
Christine in the live show chat in the Discord, our Discord, asked who would be the first in when Lowry rests? D-Rob, Struss, then Love. And is it okay to put Lowry at like a 38 minutes? Or
Definitely.
is it too high?
You could put Lowry as high as you want in minutes.
Yeah,
there's a scenario that he plays like all 48. We've seen it before.
38 to 40 is where I would put him minutes wise.
Very safe.
I think that's very fair. And for the 8 minutes that he's off the floor, is it Robinson? Either way, like Jimmy's probably handling the ball because Jimmy's coming out of the game for what, Tony? A couple minutes?
These guys are open to run all 48 if they need to. But yeah, he's going to come out a couple minutes a half.
Kyle Lowry needs to come out for a couple minutes.
We've seen 48 at time. Again, I'm being a little rhetorical, but they're going to play the whole game. It doesn't need to be exact. They're going to come out for a couple minutes here and there. They'll probably play 40, but they could play more. Like, just project them for a lot of minutes. Start at 40, I guess, would be a good number.
Yeah, Jimmy could play the whole second half. I agree, Bobby. And that's like Jimmy's going to handle the ball a ton. It's not just going to be Kyle Lowry. You're going to see him handle it too. So, yeah, don't worry too much about the who's coming in for what because we're only talking a couple minutes here and there either way, right? So I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's more just, where you have them in the pecking order with the Celtics, who you have higher. Like Tony said, like you can't have them projected the same, right? Like, you got to have like one projected a little bit higher.
Basically, you just need to look at your thing, look straight down the list, and make sure that's how you would do it. Raw points, just straight down the list.
Yep, that's it. All right, boys. Hopefully you guys hit the like button. You subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not subscribed for all the free shows.
We can look at FanDuel too.
We can look at FanDuel.
I can look super quick like. Jimmy and Tatum obviously way up. Bam at 15K is really tough to play. Jalen is at least a little cheaper but tough to play. Marcus Smart looks somewhat too expensive to me too. Big Al's going to be interesting on FanDuel at 11K. Maybe he gets a little bit under-owned there too, which I like Al. I'm with Fallick. I liked what I saw. You got Caleb Martin and Lowry and Grant. 9,500, 9K, and Struss at 75. So that's my wheelhouse right there. 9,500, 9K, 8,500, 7,500. Martin, Lowry, Grant, Struss. That's where I want to kind of do my thing at. And so how much salary do you have if you play the 2 studs? Let me look. If you play the 2 studs, you got 8,500. So you could play Struss, Grant, Lowry. Oh, there's your chalk as I look at it. Or Caleb. So you play, Tatum, Butler, Struss, Lowry, and then you can choose Grant or I guess you can't fit Caleb. I thought you could. Caleb. Yeah, you can fit Caleb. Yeah. So, that would be like that's what I think the best build is, and you can kind of work off that. Tatum, Butler, Struss, Grant Williams. And then you can choose Lowry or Caleb Martin or basically those cheap you can cycle, but very easy to play on FanDuel. Probably be a million-way chop tonight on FanDuel with the way these prices are. Like Jimmy and Tatum have such a high likelihood of being those top 2. All those other guys are too cheap. So seems very cut and dry, honestly. If you want to get different on FanDuel, maybe you gamble on the pro spot and play like Grant Williams or somebody in the pro.
I was going to say that I think you could get really interesting with getting a pro and doing that route.
Like literally go like 60-40, Tatum, Butler in the top two and flip them, and then throw a bunch of guys in that third spot and try to get creative. Even like Duncan Robinson in that spot and just hope he hits a bunch of shots or something.
I mean, if he hits a bunch of threes, he could be like he could play 20-something. He could play 22 minutes and hit a bunch of threes.
Huh.
Like, why? Just because? Just will not be? Just
it's impossible.
They don't have dudes. Wow. I mean, he's going to miss all his shots?
He's going to crash the boards, though. Still, like that's the thing about him is that he's still going to crash the boards if they're going to have Al Horford being guarded by Bam. Like that's the beauty of this is I think that it hurts Bam, it helps everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I just, yeah, I mean, okay, so Struss hasn't had good games recently, but this is different. Like, this is different to me. Like, you take him, you take Gabe out. I think all
he's
those
a shooter
guys,
anyways. Like, all it takes is a couple shots to go in, and he's going to have a good game. And if he shoots bad, he will have a bad game, even if he does rebound. Like, he's shooting based, but he's going to play a ton of minutes.
Yeah, he's gonna play a ton, so that's all that matters.
Just for members to know, I'm finishing up my first run at the that I've been putting on the site, or not on the site, in the Discord. So that will be coming out in a few minutes. But again,
we did have a question about your sheet, so it's going to be out soon. So
I'm finishing up the ownership right now, but we'll see. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you go. Kevin's sheet's coming out. I'm going to have my stuff up soon. Tony, you got your player pool. Why don't you just run through real quick your player pool for the people you give, for all the showdown slates, the main showdown slates, but talk about it real quick for the people, what they get.
Yeah, so I'll have my full player pool up again tonight. All my captains in order of how high owned they are. All my utility plays in order from high to low. I'll talk a little strategy too. Where like my final percentages, usually a little write up. Nothing crazy, as everyone that knows me knows. I'm not going to do some long write up, but I have a full breakdown. And I'll just say I'm pretty sure we're going to ship tonight. I feel very good about this slate. I feel very confident about the projections I have. And if you have SaberSim, I already have them up here. So once I get it locked in, I'll put my player pool and stuff in SaberSim to make it even easier for the people that have that. So I feel good. I think we're all three kind of on the same page too, which doesn't usually happen. I think it's going to be a good night. I'm going to miss these playoff showdowns. So the whole show, we talked about Zeller, Brett. For a minute, I said Zeller's okay. The problem with Zeller tonight is you have Kevin Love at 2,200, Grant Williams at 2,600, Duncan Robinson's only 38.
And you have mid-tier viable captains.
Tony, I disagree. You're saying all these guys and their price tags. The reason why he's a tough play is because his minutes are capped unless there's foul trouble for Bam. Like every other player has an opportunity to get more minutes. The only people that don't or only person that doesn't is Cody Zeller.
Yeah, but Bam could get in foul trouble.
Sure.
Yeah, just because it hasn't happened,
especially in Boston, down 3-1. Like, he could definitely get in foul trouble.
I'm just saying it, but listen, the league does not want – the league wants this going 7. Come on. Like, we could easily
get – I'm not going to, have a ton of Zeller, but I'll have at least a little bit in my 150 just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, people, I think that's it. If you want more of the content, our content, it'll be up at Run Pure Sports, Big T's player pool, my core plays,
I've done this sheet. I'm interrupting JSU again just to make it tough on him closing this show, but I would put him in there. I really would, but the problem is if I do it, we're all going to have identical teams, and you're going to be close enough by looking at my stuff. I can't give the full projections, though, or you're going to have exactly my teams, and we don't want that. because a lot of people do run my team. So you guys will be close, though. I guarantee we'll be chopping some spots if you look at
y'all can be idiots and play my 150 percentages that I'm posting or my projections, because I've done this 6 times now and I'm the master of it.
What's going to happen when I just run your exact projections?
You will have the exact same teams as me.
All I'm going to say right now is that if you look at all of Big T's content, it won't be that hard for you to kind of
they'll be able to get close. Some of my projections will be a little different, but they'll be close enough. We'll definitely have a lot of teams the same.
Tony, maybe they just got to think more like Big T. Just that's tough to do sometimes when you're giving Brantley.
Like for a full slate, sometimes I'll put my full projections in. For Showdown, though, I don't think I can put the full ones in there.
Oh, there you go. Guys, if you have more questions, hit us up in the Discord. We'll be around for most of the night until the game locks at 8:30. So make sure you check that out. MLB show going on right now with the boys. So go over, check them out if you want some MLB winners. That's going to do it for us. For me, JSU, Big T, and K Fallon. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys later. We're out. Peace.